not something I would normally talk about, but this is big, because we might be all screwed. Net neutrality, I'm sure you've heard it a ton, and I am gonna try and keep this as contained as I possibly can and not bore you with the details. But basically the FCC, the body that governs whether or not the internet will remain open as it currently is or will start getting locked off at the discretion of your internet service provider, the FCC, they are having a vote in a couple of days about whether or not they are going to remove the protections that were put in place under the Obama administration that ensured that all websites, all services, and all users had access to everything at the same speed, and ISPs were not allowed to throttle and slow down any specific sites for whatever reason they wanted to do that. And we know that they want to do that because they had already started doing it at the time the rule got put in place. I'm going to put some links down below, but the main one you need to go to is Battle for the Net. You need to go there to get the information about who your members of Congress are and where their current stance is on the net neutrality issue. Because this is not being voted on by the public. The only chance we have at this is to put as much pressure on our members of Congress as we possibly can. That's a big part of why I'm making this video, because I have called my members of Congress, but I also live in one of only 5 states in the country where all my members of Congress have said that they do support net neutrality. If you live anywhere other than Vermont, Delaware, Rhode Island, Hawaii, or New Hampshire, then you have members of Congress who are either against saving net neutrality or have not made their position clear and maybe could get swayed either way if you pick up the phone. And if you think I'm only going on about this because I'm a YouTube creator, this is going to impact everybody. Do you love how with your cable or other TV provider, you can't just pay a baseline and then get access to everything? And if you want certain things, you have to pay more. And sometimes it comes bundled with a bunch of stuff you didn't even want. Do you love that? No? Well, that's what your internet's going to start being like. While it's fairly unlikely that internet service providers will start outright blocking sites, they can and they will start throttling connection speed, and they're going to do it in a couple of different ways. For starters, they can start throttling the connection speeds of the people actually providing the internet sites that we have. They could charge Netflix, YouTube, Steam, Facebook, could start charging all of these companies more money in order to do the things that they're already doing. That puts their costs up, so if any of them charge you for anything, they're gonna have to start charging you more because they're gonna take a massive hit. But in addition to that, they're gonna start hitting up you, because remember that comparison I just made to the cable company? Well, imagine you live in a district where the ISP that you have access to, because let's be honest, most of us do not live in areas where we have a ton of choice in terms of how many different internet service providers we could go to. So imagine the biggest ISP in your area has cut a deal with Microsoft, and the only search engine whose connection speed is going to remain at a good level is going to be Bing, because they put an exclusive deal, so Bing is included as part of your basic package. Wait, what's that? You want to use Google? You mean like the vast majority of the planet prefers? Well, that's not part of your basic package, so you're gonna have to pay for an upgrade to be able to get Google at anything other than a snail's pace. Ditto YouTube, ditto Facebook, ditto Netflix, Steam, on and on and on and on. If this ruling goes through, which we know for a fact the current head of the FCC desperately wants it to, the only people who will benefit from this are big communication conglomerates. They are the only ones. It is bad for the people who make anything that uses the internet to sell a product, whether it is a digital product or a physical product. It is bad for all of us, and it is bad for all of you who use the internet to access friggin' anything. The arguments being made in favor of these things are it will allow to give consumers more choice. I suppose technically that's true in that you will get a choice of how much more you are willing to pay in order to do the stuff that you're already doing. And I also want to shoot down the other argument that usually happens with situations like this, which is that if we make it so that the various communication companies make more money, they'll create more jobs and it'll be good for everyone. Well, no, they won't, because this isn't a situation where it's going to allow them to expand and create more jobs. It's going to allow them to throttle access to things they're already doing and milk more money out of us that way. There is no need for them to hire more people to be able to do that. They just start slowing down services. They can do that with the people they already have. Why would they hire anyone new to do that? This is not a political issue. This is beyond a bipartisan issue. If you use the internet at all, You should care about this. And we can't be complacent. We cannot assume that, oh, well, you know, I'm sure it won't happen. Yes, it will. It absolutely will. And more to the point, we have stopped stuff like this before. Massive uprisings of the internet community have stopped things like SOPA, and I can't even remember what the other one was a couple years back. This right now, what's about to happen, this is worse. We have to do absolutely everything. Every voice counts. And as I said, I have already called my representatives in Congress, even though I know they are already in favor of maintaining net neutrality. I called anyway because every single voice matters. We have risen up as a community of internet users in this nation to be able to stop stuff like this before. We have to do it again because this could be the worst thing that could possibly happen on every conceivable level to the internet. It will be the cessation of free expression of ideas where everybody has access to the same resources, both outgoing, incoming, and suddenly you want more, you pay more. And by more, I mean what you already have now. You won't be getting anything new, you'll be getting what you already had, you'll just be paying more money for it. Help us tell these corporations and Mr. Pai, the current head of the FCC, exactly where they can stick it. Battle for the Net, link down below. Again, I wish I didn't have to put this out. This is not the sort of content I want to be spending my time creating, but this freaking matters. And I'm not even gonna put a prompt to, if you have thoughts, comment about it. This is not up for debate. This has to be stopped, period. And until next time, this council is adjourned.